Hey, what's up guys? So after finishing the Saw movies for the How to Beat series, a lot of you suggested that I should also talk about the games. It was surprisingly difficult to get my hands on a copy of this title since it's not really sold anywhere and it took me some time to actually play it. But in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a game that really creeped me out when I was a kid, because I saw gameplay of this around the time of when it came out. In Saw the game, you play as Detective Tapp, who's drifting in and out of consciousness as he's being set up in one of Jigsaw's traps. And this opening sequence is pretty awesome. You get the same hectic style from the movies and it works surprisingly well. So you wake up in a bathroom with the reverse bear trap on your head, when suddenly the TV turns on. Yes, I've missed this. I really wanted to talk about the Saw franchise again. By the way, personally, I think the Saw puppet looks far scarier in the games than in the movies, because here it's more like long and slender, while in the movies it's chubbier. So the reason given for why Tapp is in here is pretty similar to Allison Carey in Saw 3. Basically there it's explained to her that she's just too good at her job and this obsession is what landed her in the trap, which is absolute fucking bullshit. I mean, what the hell kind of an explanation is that? And it's the same explanation here. Tapp is just too obsessed with finding the Jigsaw killer and that makes him deserving of this trap, I guess. There's even one line where Jigsaw says that it's Tapp's fault that his partner, Detective Singh, died in the first movie.
You have lost your family, your badge, even the life of your partner, Detective Singh.
What the hell are you talking about? That was you. He tried to arrest you because you're a murderer.
I've never murdered anyone in my life.
Yeah, right. And then you shot him. Anyway, in the reverse bear trap, you basically play a small mini game where you need to press the correct buttons to try to unlock the mask. You have a lot of time to do this and it's pretty easy as this is just supposed to be the beginning of this game. I will say that a lot of the traps here aren't that difficult to beat. Either that or they just feel completely impossible. Anyway, you remove the mask, after which you're locked in the bathroom. If you try to leave, you will find a combination lock on the door. And it's here where we're more in a puzzle solving game much like in the first movie. When you close the stall doors and walk over to the puzzle icon on the floor and look into the mirror, you will see the code to the padlock, 431. You go over to the door and that doesn't work. I was stuck. Guys, I was stuck in this room for an embarrassingly long amount of time before I realized that's not a 1, that's a 7. So there we probably have the answer to what a lot of people have been asking. Would HitStart, the How to Beat Saw guy, actually survive a Saw game? Hell no. I was stuck on the first puzzle and literally had to look up a tutorial because apparently I'm So after you get out of the bathroom, there comes a part of the gameplay that honestly I kind of have mixed feelings about. You walk around in long dark pathways in a dilapidated building. When things get too dark, you have a lighter which illuminates the hallways in an awesome orange hue. You occasionally hear noises such as rats scurrying around and people in the distance screaming for help. And although this is pretty good to set the tone for the game, these parts go on for way too long. So much of the game is just walking around in this building. But where the hell are you anyways? You're in the Whitehurst Asylum for the Insane, which is a massive building that does not appear in the movies. Throughout the game, you basically go from trap to trap and play different small escape room style games, and some of them are quite cool. Anyway, you walk into another disgusting bathroom where there's also a different man, who's really kind of a jerk, but more on that in a minute. The puppet appears once again to explain the trap.
Activating the panel will open both doors. Detective Tapp, you must first find the object in the toilet to unlock the panel.
You need to find a fuse to the door in 90 seconds or both of you will die in here. But where is that fuse? Well, what is one of the worst traps in the Saw franchise? The needle pit from Saw 2. Now make it even more disgusting. You walk over to one of the toilets, which is filled to the brim with used needles. You stick your arm in there and need to fish around for the fuse. So you control Tapp's arm and basically need to line it up with the fuse and then just grab it. Even though this minigame is pretty easy, I mean seriously, you can beat it in like 3 seconds if you actually try, it's still so gross. And Tapp could easily use his sweater and shirt to wrap it around his arm for a little bit of protection. Either that or just break the toilet seat with one of the many heavy metal objects in the room. I don't think these toilets were cleaned before the needles were dumped in there, so I'm not putting my arm in there. So you free this bozo in the other room. For some reason, you, Detective Tapp, is barefoot, and since you're in this abandoned house, there are shards of glass on the floor that you need to avoid. Then this guy says something like,
"You aren't getting my shoes."
"Thanks, I guess he watched too many how to beat videos. He's only interested in saving himself." So you walk further into the asylum, and it's kind of like a haunted house on Halloween. You can see other people going through their traps and failing, and there you can see some of the most iconic traps from the series again. If you're a fan of the franchise, I think this game is a good addition to the experience if you play it in small bursts, because it can be a little repetitive. The game also has some pretty scary moments where you're attacked by the pig mask guys. So then comes a slightly problematic part of the game. The first main test is about you saving Amanda. You know, the jigsaw killer Amanda, the person who turned from victim to killer herself. Yeah, you have to save her life. I'm like 90% sure that this is because at the time of this game's development, the movies weren't actually far enough yet for the guys to know that she's, evil. I haven't actually finished the game yet, so maybe there will be a really great plot twist, but honestly, I highly doubt it. Now here's another thing that this game does that I think is kind of annoying. You need to get to Amanda, who's right here. But the game has you running 5 miles in this direction, only so that you can get a tiny key to the door that leads you into this room, which is 5 miles back in this direction. When it probably would have been like 10 times easier to just climb over this stupid small fence directly into our trap. I mean, seriously, Tap is right there. But then he decides to go on a 45-minute vision quest just to end up in a room that he already passed. So if you're wondering what the hell I'm even talking about for the next few minutes, just know this. We're trying to get to Amanda so that we can save her, so that I guess she can kill more people, because we're a hero. So you go into another room where that jerk from earlier hits you in the leg with a bat before running off.
What are you doing? Sorry, buddy. This is part of my game.
Yeah, thanks. What the hell was that for? Then you need to kill this other dude, because in Jigsaw's traps, everyone needs to value their life. Except for that dude, he just needs to be murdered. So after trying out every single button on my keyboard because the real fight buttons didn't work for me for some reason, I accidentally killed this guy. Now the man who hit us on the leg with a bat is stuck in this room, and for some reason thinks he will now die, which is not necessarily true. He panics and runs through the door, but that door is booby-trapped with a shotgun, so he gets his head blown off. This man could have actually survived if he was careful, because really it's intended for you to disarm the shotguns, like this. So afterwards we continue to walk through the house, and by now you've probably noticed that we're in a giant building. And I'm pretty sure that Tap's test in this video game is longer and far more complicated than all of the traps and all of the Saw movies combined. But while walking around, we do get a few cool flashbacks that kind of further explain what happened here. Tap came in here with a gunshot wound which was treated, probably by Dr. Gordon. But while stitching him up, there was also a key hidden inside of his body. That's why pretty much everybody here tries to kill you. They need that one key inside of our body so they themselves can be free. It's their assignment to kill Tap. So after walking around some more, you get to the next trap. In a room there are 4 bodies. One of them has a key inside, but you have to choose carefully which one of these people to cut open. That's the only explanation given. At first it looks kind of like guesswork, but upon further examination of the room you can see that there are some x-rays on the wall. All but one of them look normal. There's nothing on them. However, the x-ray labeled A. Faulkner has a key shown on his chest. Then if you go to the feet of the corpses, you can check the toe tag. Upon finding Faulkner, you cut him open, only to find that his body is stuffed with razor blades. You dig around, similarly to how you dig in the toilet filled with syringes, and you find the key. After that, you can go all the way back to the door that leads into Amanda's trap. So can you finally use the key on the door? Oh, you bet your sweet ass you can't. This key unlocks the main hallway of the asylum, which leads into the morgue. Here, occasionally when opening doors, you will see that they're also booby-trapped with shotguns, but all you have to do is just press the number that it says in the doorway. You could also theoretically just kick the door open, which would set off the trap without blowing your head off, but for some reason when Tap sees the shotgun in the doorway, he chooses to go head first through the doorway, perfectly lining up his head with the barrel of the gun every single time. So you go into the morgue of the asylum. Once there, you will find some writing on a small table saying that sometimes the dark can also illuminate. Down here, you can see that there are a bunch of dirty bombs rigged to explode if you make the wrong move. In the morgue, you have the option to open several different doors, but if you pick the wrong one, all the bombs explode. If you explore a little bit, you will find that one of the cabinets holds a fuse, and if you put that into the fuse box by the doorway in the morgue, some glow-in-the-dark paint lights up. If you stand in the correct spot, you can see that it makes the shape of a gun. So you go back into the morgue, open the door with a gun painted on it, and finally you have the key. Now the bombs will go off in 15 seconds, and you need to run out of here before they explode. And now you have to go all the way back to Amanda, who's like 7 miles away at this point. On our way, you have the option to kill a random dude who's just standing there and doesn't react to getting hit in the head because he's literally too stupid to pick up... The hell was that? Because he's too stupid to pick up the weapon that's literally right in front of him. But you can also run away and both of you live. I killed him, just to be safe, you know. So can you go to Amanda now? Nope. First you go into this other room where the door locks behind you and there are even more bombs and a padlock on the exit door. Anyway, in this room you once again have to look through the different cabinets until you find a fuse. Don't worry, you have a full minute to do this, which is more than enough time. Once you find it, you put it into the fuse box located in this brightly lit room. Then the TV screens will light up showing you 3 different numbers. You punch those numbers into the padlock by the door and the timer stops. You can leave, no problem. Now you can finally go into Amanda's test. At the time of this game's release, this would have been the 3rd time Amanda is in a saw trap, which must have been kind of hilarious. She wins a saw game, is put back into a second one, wins again, and is then put into a third one. Jigsaw explains that she's here because she relapsed into her drug habit. While he explains this, she makes these weird moans. Don't play this game when your parents are around, they will be very confused, trust me. Here it's revealed that both of you are injected with a poison and you need to sort the 2 antidotes in this sorting machine. If you get the wrong antidote, you die. Don't question it, just play the game. Basically, you just need to sort the blue marbles into the blue pile and the red marbles into the red pile. The twist is that these holders will always rotate once something falls into them, so you need to anticipate which way they rotate. If you sort the balls wrong, Amanda will be injected with the wrong liquid, causing her to be further poisoned. The antidote is locked in this machine and you can't just break the needles because Amanda needs to be injected with the correct antidote, so I don't think that it's theoretically possible to cheat this one, but there's no time limit, so you can just take as long as you want to figure out where the balls fall. Or you can just remember this: blue, red, red, blue, blue, red, red, blue, blue, red, red, blue, blue, red, 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 blue, blue, red, blue, red, blue, blue. I'm pretty sure that's correct, but seriously, the game's not that hard. Again, there's no time limit, so you can easily win. So after you save Amanda's life, she starts yelling at you and blames you for everything.
Who is he? What did he look like?
That's all you care about? I just nearly died. We're all here because of you, detective.
What? I just saved your life. By the way, everyone does this. You save their life, and then they blame you for ending up here. Although Tap was just doing his job well by trying to arrest the killer. So then, instead of just going through the broken roof that you saw earlier and climbing out of this hellhole and escaping, you go back into the basement with Amanda. On your way, you will find another guy who failed his trap. Once you arrive at the bottom floor, you can see 3 TV screens showing that one of your police colleagues is stuck in the pendulum trap, which by the way is much better in this game than it is in the movies in my opinion. It doesn't slice horizontally across your body, but vertically, from your head to the pelvic region. Then you go through the open door, but before Amanda can go, the door shuts and she's abducted by one of the pig mask people. So I guess she's back together with her friends. In this game's universe, she will probably end up in another trap somewhere. So that's not the end of the game, not even half of it, but it's so long that I'll cut it off here. If you guys enjoyed this video, we will continue this series. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smash like, smash subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.